What's up, guys? I'm back. It's your boy Alex, bringing the intro today. Basil, I'm giving Basil a break. Okay, he's gonna take a break.
He's not Alex's.
So, I'm here today with two shadows from the hidden shadows of the secret chamber. And again, thank you guys so much for letting us use the secret chamber to record our podcast out of. You guys said you wanted to come on and say a few words because you heard us talking about you last episode. So I got the shadow of Cheddar right here. And then I have the shadow of Queso Blanco, right? Yeah, that's him right there. That's there. First of all, White Cheddar Shadow, what would you say your kung fu is, actually? What got you qualified to be a hidden shadow of the secret chamber?
Whips and chains and cheese and things.
Oh, I like that. And do the whips and chains come into play when you're making your cheese?
Depends on if you use noodles or macaroni.
Okay. Now that leads me into a really important question. Last episode we were saying that the white cheddar is not cool with the macaroni shadow of the pasta clan. Are you guys cool?
It depends on the evening.
Okay.
I would like to say yes, we are cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want that on me. Only long noodles.
Now here's the thing. Here's the thing. When it comes to a stable relationship, sometimes it's gonna take the other person to swallow his pride first, or swallow the the macaroni. Some might say.
I shake my head at that.
Okay.
Except on experimental nights.
Okay. That's
like when he puts a feather in his cap.
Okay, so the voice that you guys are hearing right now
And they call that macaroni.
That's the that's why you and macaroni are so cool, Cheddar Shadow. So Cheddar Shadow, tell me a little bit about your kung fu that got you qualified to come to the secret chamber.
Well, see, the thing is that there's not a lot of kung fu in England. Where I'm from.
Right.
But I've been practicing on my accents, and my American accent's pretty accurate right now.
You sound like a second generation, half Vietnamese, half Laotian American kid who grew up in San Diego.
But if I try and change it up a bit, it sounds very...
Oh, it's coming through.
It sounds a little weird.
It's coming through.
It sounds a little off.
Now, you and Macaroni go way back. You and Macaroni Shadow, right?
Yes.
You guys actually came to the secret chamber first? Together?
Yeah.
Not together.
We're not together.
Right,
but
right.
like
But really-
walking in together.
Really.
Like we met on the road, but we're not like together.
We both, like you know the joke I had
We're not married.
The joke that I had just
Right.
used earlier about
He is not my significant other.
putting a feather in the cap.
Right.
It was really what the Yankees had said.
No one is taking any feathers in the cap.
Okay, all right.
But they called it macaroni, and that was part of his joke. And now everybody seems to think that we're the bestest of friends because they call us
Right.
mac and cheese.
Right.
I am not the receiver. I am definitely a pitcher.
Okay, that's okay. Now,
Except on experimental nights.
of course.
But to be fair, right, the American pastime baseball is part of the game. Doesn't even get to be played until somebody knows how to pitch, right?
That's a good point. I mean, what is there to catch if there isn't even a pitch?
Right. And the
Yeah.
other part is learning how to find out, like, the ability to really, really abuse a bad pitch.
Right. Now,
And you can abuse a bad pitch.
you and Macaroni used to date, right? Queso Blanco?
Not date.
Okay. What kind of a relationship was it?
Strictly friendship.
Okay. There's a lot of F's there. I feel like you were trying to make another word.
They call it more of a platonic relationship.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, sure. We could go with that one.
But only on experimental nights.
But mostly,
Yes.
Yeah.
but on experimental nights, I believe Macaroni had originally said that it was more of a something to do with plates and gin and tonics.
Are we still
That's the
talking
bit.
about cooking? I'm getting lost.
Now, last episode, the boys said that we were going to try and get an experiment going where we were going to strap me down to a chair and you guys were going to provide the queso for the queso chips, right? Maybe have a mixture of the two. Can you guys make something like that happen? Like
Right now?
we can give it a week.
Put a sock in his mouth. Let's do it.
Oh shit. Well, I'm about to be kidnapped, but this is episode 42.
Should it be a stinky sock?
Oh, please God.
Or just a regular sock?
Yeah,
Let's
Like
use
not too heavily used.
maybe
but
clean.
definitely been put through the wash a couple
let's
times.
use the
Maybe a
sock
clean
I
one.
wank in.
Oh no.
Oh, that's got a lot of cheese in it.
Yeah, it's crusty now.
It's crusty Casablanca cheese. That's right. Yeah.
I don't even know how many. Anyways, guys, this is the Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse review.
Cotton has a lot of fiber. Yeah.
Are we supposed to go in the chamber again?
Enjoy.
No, I think we've been taken out of the chamber.
Enjoy the episode.
What's over there? I think I got a few.
All right, I'm just gonna go into it. You guys ready to run with me?
Where are we going?
All right,
Oh, okay, we're running.
you guys ready to run with me?
I learned how to do this from The Flash.
See that breathing technique? It's actually really. It sounds like he's out of breath, but he's actually taking in the optimum amount of oxygen to sustain that pace.
I'm just really impressed because he runs without moving his hips.
It's really good. Okay, now since he made him self-conscious about it, he's moving his hips now. So that's
Yeah, now
Okay,
he's like
back-
now he's like hula dancing almost, which is just too much movement when you're trying to run.
Now that's
Have you
the-
ever seen somebody try and run and do a hula dance at the same time?
it's impossible.
It's pretty ridiculous.
Unless you do the long stride that Nikonzi is now doing. Okay, now that's the short stride slash Samoan tribal dance before they make love. Notice the facial expressions. Those facial expressions are actually to attract his mate. Now he's ready for lovemaking. That's great. Woo! Hello and welcome, fam. We are Hidden Shadows of the Secret Chamber.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Spider-Man, Spider-Man does whatever Spider can. Spins the web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man.
It's episode 42. We are Hidden Shadows of the Secret Chamber, and we are bringing you the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse review. God damn, this movie was fucking phenomenal balls. Amazing. Yes, brilliant. Before we get into the Spider-Verse, I want to make sure I let you guys know who the fuck you're listening to. We are Hidden Shadows of the Secret Chamber. We are a movie review podcast. We are your source for your light and heavy nerd needs. We'll tell you what movies you should be watching, as well as any other dope medias for the nerd soul. My name is Alex. I am your wee boy, posing as a functioning member of society. And to the front of me,
Is it really the front, or should we use cardinal directions? Because I think I'm south of you.
I think that we should use
It really
cardinal.
depends. It really depends on the game, because sometimes you don't. Like it's more confusing to be like 12 o'clock. What do you mean? 12 o'clock from our position? 12 o'clock from the sun? Did you mean south by southeast 225?
I think tonight
like-
I'm feeling more regal, so I think I will say that you are south of me.
Yeah.
What is your
Well,
name?
I'm the gaming guru. I believe that's my non-given, like self-given title. It's official.
I gave it to him.
Yeah.
It's official. I've knighted him.
But I didn't give it to myself. Just to reiterate.
No,
Because I don't know.
because
I
he's
don't
humble.
I don't feel very wise.
He's
I'm not
so
like
humble.
like calling me
Look
a
at him.
guru is
Listen
kind
to
of
this.
weird. Like I'm not that old.
And then directly west of me is our super strong, super buff, shy boy, the mogul, Nikonzi. That's our guy. Today again we watched Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse. I can't put into words this movie, but before we get into those words that I can't dig up, I want to get into some like Khan's Game Corner right quick. What you got for us today, boy?
It's kind of hard. There's like just so much going on. I don't think I touched on the Epic Store last week, but the Epic Store, right? So Epic Games kind of known for making the Unreal development kit, right? They've made the Unreal Engine, which powers a lot of games, obviously. They themselves have a production studio for putting out games. They're most known for Unreal Tournament, of course, some of the Quake games, and most notably, recently, Fortnite.
Okay.
Right. So, to kind of backstory a little bit, Steam pretty much has the monopoly for a online game marketplace.
Yeah, you were telling me a little bit about that, right? They were
Right.
kind of making it difficult for independent game studios.
Yeah, they recently had some sort of, I'm not 100% sure, but like they, from what I was reading on Reddit and a couple of articles, it is now more difficult for indie developers because major developers are getting a bigger cut from what they're supposedly profiting from, right?
Ugh.
So to kind of combat this in a different way, Epic Games made their own launcher for their store.
Okay.
Right. So the idea here is that Epic Games is going to be getting some more exclusive content that isn't going to go on Steam right away, or if at all. And in a similar way, like I was saying before, there are other libraries that hold this kind of, that allow you to play the game without using Steam. For mainly like MMOs and some free-to-play games, they have their own client, so you don't have to interact with Steam. However, Steam is so much more easily accessed that it is really about publicizing. So people will see it pop up on Steam and be like, oh, I haven't heard of this game, and then they'll go through Steam to get that secondary launcher going anyways. So another one, it would be like EA, right?
Right.
They have the Origin. EA Origin allows you to play a lot of their games without interacting with Steam, and in some cases just straight up they aren't on Steam, or they don't run well,
which is for their advantage, right?
Yeah,
it's because Steam,
unfortunately, the EA Origin is really just it's kind of an obtrusive, more not as optimized as Steam.
Yeah.
And a lot of people get turned off by having, oh man, now I have to have 5 different bookshelves open at the same time to access one bookshelf that has 5,000 games, and then one bookshelf that only has 10 games that I cannot take that and put onto the other bookshelf.
It's like it's kind of like the Funimation app compared to Verve.co, right?
Right, where
Still salty that they pulled all the Funimation stuff off Verve.
I didn't know that they pulled it off of Verve. I do know that they pulled it off of Crunchyroll, because that is actually working in their favor without us knowing enough information on that end, because Crunchyroll wasn't allowing them to expand to more streaming outside of the US.
Well, okay, so how is this Epic platform going to help these independent game developers?
Well, it should allow them, again, I'm not 100% sure, but it should allow them better ad revenue, better front page coverage for whatever game they've made. And I believe there's some sort of deal on getting access to the Unreal Engine and using their software to develop games.
So without getting too political, for some reason, like, big companies have a problem with little independent, companies coming up and making money, like taking their cut of the market share. Like, for instance, like Instagram, my mujer was advertising her bikini line on there, and then Facebook took over Instagram and created this algorithm so that it would take much more attention for you, like, in order for you to get on to what's the popular page.
The same thing happens with YouTube and even Google, the problem isn't necessarily just the algorithms that they use. It is also how people are searching up things.
Well, I love that Epic is doing that, man.
Right.
I think more.
Epic's going to be doing that, and like I was trying to tell you before, Discord, which is a really popular communications program, has kind of exploded in the last 2 years. I think it's been around for 3 years.
Sure.
Point being that in its explosion, they also added what's called Discord Nitro, which allows you to subscribe to them and use your the emotes that you can get from one server on other servers. And honestly, for some people, that's worth the perks, but it's not insane. Now they are adding their own store as well this last couple of months.
That will hopefully help other independent game developers. Do you have any games that you like from independent game developers that you might want to put out there right now?
Right before I get into that, because before we get into that,
this is that
Discord,
segment.
Yeah,
So
Discord is actually supposedly putting up that they're going to take 10%. 90% is going to go to the developer.
That's amazing.
So I mean,
fantastic.
A 90-10 split hopefully will help everybody.
Hell yeah.
Because you don't want, like, games can't exist if you have to go work for and again, no offense to, but we talked about it before, where Red Dead Redemption, right? Red Dead Redemption, for how popular it was, Rockstar has a very toxic work environment.
Yeah.
You're talking about over 40 hours unpaid overtime.
It's a rough like for game developers. We have no idea what kind of shit they have to go through.
And on top of all of that, something that you're passionate about, basically being an artist in so many different forms, and people are just going to find ways to shit on you.
Just sap the fun out of it. So I love that.
As for indie games, one of them is actually already on the Switch. It's called Battle Chef Brigade. It's kind of a Metroidvania that has to do with some sort of Iron Chef competition in the fantasy world. So it's pretty cool.
So do you just really cook fun. in the game, or
you
what is
have to
it?
Go and like action game Metroidvania fight for your ingredients, and then take your ingredients back and cook.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's kind of a really wacky adventure. I've only put like 10 minutes into it, but I know Myron got it for the Switch at some point. Another one that's really popular is called Dead Cells, and it's a really tough side-scrolling action RPG. That one's also really popular, as well as Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is I was following it during early access, and now it's a full price game at like $30. And that's a steal for that game. Some other indie games that you should have heard of by now are Shovel Knight, which is really heavily inspired by old Mega Man games, but honestly is its own Metroidvania with nice platforming skills.
And then they have like that real vintage vibe, right?
Yeah, it's got really, really specific like pixel art.
Okay, so I got Dead Cells, I got Hollow Knight, Shovel Knight, and then what was the first one? The chef one?
Battle Chef Brigade.
Battle Chef Brigade. Go support them, motherfuckers. We're gonna put that up on our Instagram page so that you guys can see what we're talking about.
And I will definitely like do better on listing all these games, because those are just kind of bigger name indie developed games with a lot of I mean, the indie market is basically like being in high school and finding out that everybody put together some sort of zine, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, what the heck is this 15-page magazine from somebody I don't know from a different school? What the heck is this one? What's going on?
You are so trendy,
some of them are
calling magazines zine. I had no idea what you were talking about.
I call them flipboards.
Pogs. I did that one on purpose, by the way, because I didn't get enough earlier.
For emphasis, we actually have a podcast gong in here. Anything else that you want to add to your game corner today?
Spider-Man got more DLC. We love Spider-Man, but that DLC is pretty bad.
But they have cool costumes.
Okay. All right.
But we love Spider-Man, so we have to support him.
We have to support Spider-Man.
We don't support that aggressive microtransaction pricing. We do support content.
Yes, we do. that's Cons Game Corner. I have a recommendation for today. I went and listened to one of my personal heroes, and you know, I don't know, just fucking, what do you call those things? Role models. And I don't want to sound douchey when I say this, because there's no way not to sound douchey when I say it. But Kobe Bryant, he put out he was on a podcast called The Corp with one of the most famous baseball players, Alex Rodriguez. My name is always mistaken for his because anyway.
Because Alex Dominguez is hard. So he did the podcast called, again, on The Corp, and seriously, that man has, just in those 44 minutes, you could pick out like maybe 20 motivational quotes from what he was saying, but it's such a good listen. You get into his method for preparing for games, and his helicopter. He used to take a helicopter to practice because LA traffic was a bitch. That would be so baller, and he's got the money.
And not only that, like to take it to practice, but also so that he could still be there to pick up his daughters from school. He wanted to be a good father to his daughters. So he there's kind of like a sweet side to that baller ass Hollywood move. And then some of the stuff that he's working on now, and the biggest thing, the takeaways that I took was, he was asked if you could go back in time, or if you somehow had your peak physical body forever, would you play basketball forever? Would you go back in time? And he said no, because it's kind of like a spit in the face for that time of my life. I have already accomplished what I wanted to accomplish in basketball. I'm honed into the present moment. He started a new like athletic training facility called Mamba Mentality Academy. Very, very dope. Very Kobe.
MMA. Very Kobe indeed.
Yes. And then a couple other things. One of my favorite quote was that we all have our own puzzles. Like, life is a puzzle, and we are basically just trying to figure it out. And the people who are doing well and excelling, they've figured out that puzzle, and they're functioning in that space. And the people who are still kind of struggling, they're still figuring out that puzzle. So I love that. And then finally, and this is for basketball fans, I loved his method of preparing his kung fu, right? The way he would prepare for games solely depended on his opponents. So if he was going to play the Spurs, this is the example that he used. He's like, okay, I would watch tapes, video of that team, and then I would figure out what their defense looked like. So, for example, the Spurs don't let them get a lot of layups, a lot of inside shots on the paint. So he would be sitting there for hours before the game practicing his mid-range and long-range shots and rehearsing for this performance that he's about to put on. So that just blew my mind. And again, that just gives me inspiration to go out in my own life to take this very strategic, calculated approach to whatever it is that I'm doing. So go listen to that episode. Super inspirational and just awesome listening to one of your personal heroes if you like Kobe Bryant.
I love Kobe.
Kobe's awesome.
Kobe.
Kobe.
Hit the gong.
Set in an Eastern fantasy setting, Dan Fei and her brother, guardians of a sword known as the Tianxingjian, are pursued by an evil Zhuangyi Zong clan, who seek to obtain the sword for their master, Mi Tianha. While her brother is defeated, Fei, who possesses the sword's crossguard, escapes and finds herself in the care of the wandering swordsman, Sheng Bu Huan, and a mysterious man named Lin Zuya, who become her protectors from the pursuing Zhongyi Zong clan.
That sounds like an awesome choose your own adventure book. No, what is this?
It is a Japanese, Taiwanese glove puppetry television series.
What?
Called Thunderbolt Fantasy.
That's amazing. Oh my God. How did you find this?
Well, I was meditating and visiting clouds,
Okay.
and I stumbled upon this picture. And I was like,
Show it to the listeners.
what? What is this?
Okay, looks like some kind of weird
This
Transylvanian.
it's like
Wild.
Team America meets Kung Fu.
Yeah.
With
And
like
that's-
slightly higher production on their Muppets.
And let me tell you, that is exactly what it is. I sat down and I watched 2 episodes, 20 minutes each, and it was an amazing Kung Fu story with some of the best action choreography I have ever seen in my life.
In puppet history.
Yes.
That's
And
incredible.
It had this, does it have like a slapstick humor to it?
No, it's brutal.
So
It's
like-
serious?
There's blood.
What?
The crazy part is
Puppet blood?
the crazy part it's serious,
Okay.
and people's heads get cut off, their hands get cut off.
Wow.
There are Kamehameha waves going left and right. There are people powering up and blasting up energy shields to protect their loved ones as their body slowly disintegrates.
I need to watch this.
All
It's-
through puppetry, which is a dying art. No
How
lie.
the fuck how did they do that? That's amazing.
And what the amazing
Passion.
part is, this shit takes forever to make.
Really?
So I applaud their efforts. When I'm going to show you a scene,
Uh-huh.
and when you see this scene, you're going to be like, they did that with puppets? Like, that probably took countless of hours.
That's incredible.
And like from the way you're telling it, it's a very different puppet work. Puppet work is pretty actually normal in a lot of modern costumes. Like and a good example is a lot of the Star Wars costumes, right?
Mhm.
There are
from the 60s? I'm sorry, from the 70s or the
all of them.
all of
There
them?
are people in these suits that also have sticks elsewhere to like activate triggers that are completely different from their eyes and their mouths,
Yeah.
right? And that itself is also part of puppetry,
That's incredible.
right? Like think of
Yeah.
how much work goes into giving life to a Muppet even.
Or moving my body.
Mhm. Like,
Yeah,
this is-
no, that's
yeah.
crazy. Like again, all that work. Have you all maybe everybody can relate to this. Have you guys ever been working on an idea and halfway through an idea, like working on it, you're just like, nah, this is stupid. I should just stop. I like that must have happened to them, and they're just like, no, fuck it. I'm gonna finish this.
Yeah.
See this shit through the end.
Just imagine them bringing this to their producer. So we got this kung fu looking puppet. Can't really emote, but I can make the eyes blink. But watch this. Ting, 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 ting.
Holy shit, that was like a real puppet sword fight. How do you do that?
I can show you. Can we make more?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's sign this guy up. Let's do this.
Get a writer.
Get a writer.
What's your plans for this story? Because I just like the puppet.
I just like the puppet. Yeah.
Warrior brother sister have to run away from evil master and try and survive and run into.
That sounds like a good kung fu
yeah.
story.
I like
Yeah.
it. I already like it.
Yep.
Mhm, mhm,
Yep.
mhm. Yep. Give him $1 million for the first episode. That sounds dope. I really want to watch that scene, and then I'm gonna put that shit up on Instagram. if
What
I
is
can
it
be able-
again? It's
Thunderbolt Fantasy.
Thunderbolt.
Just great name.
Oh wait, it's Chinese. I used the wrong accent.
All of these things everybody needs to support so we can get more of.
Yes. Anything else you want to recommend for the week?
No, that's it.
That's it. That's our. Before we get into that recommendations, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this delicious meal and talk about Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse.
First,
Well,
we have to
first-
sing it.
I was gonna say we all have to just relax, don't we?
No, we have to sing it. Oh yeah. Dun, 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 dun. And I'm flying.
And
Dun, 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 cactus, sunflowers.
Needless to say,
Don't know the words, but I'm moving my body, moving my body, moving my body. Ay.
What a like straight up.
that was a relatable scene for everyone.
Everything in this movie was relatable. Like they hit too many emotional markers for me.
And you know what? That was exactly when I was like, wait, this is from the creators of the Lego movie. I was like, they did it. They
Yeah.
immediately hooked us in.
So what you guys heard, this masterful rendition of what went on in the movie, was when Miles Morales was working on some artwork and he had his headphones on full blast and he was singing out loud. Now, on the outside, you just hear that shit, but on the inside, he is putting on a show, the show that we've all thought we put on in front of thousands of imaginary people, being a part of our favorite band that we're listening to on our headphones. And again, super relatable. Let's get into the impression of the movie.
Brilliant.
Oh my goodness.
Brillante.
Everything visually stunning.
Jesus.
Can you just close your eyes for a moment and just absorb it? Those that haven't seen the movie, you should watch it after this. But as you wait, just watch the trailer.
Like,
yeah.
they did a lot of handwork on. They did multiple scenes in different styles and then overlaid it.
They brought a comic book to life.
Yeah.
Like, that's how much work they did. They did the same scene in like 4 different visual styles and then just overlaid the same scene.
Yeah.
It
Right.
probably took them all of the trust they built from the studios, from both the Lego movies, because those movies did extremely well,
Right.
which allowed them to say, okay, here's our next project. This is a straight comic book parallel time movie, and watch us. Please let us do whatever we want to do with it.
It was really incredible. Again, the theme of this movie, one of the themes is a leap of faith. And I think that really goes into what this studio did. It was a leap of faith. You can tell that they committed 150% to the visuals, the when you were traveling through the dimensions and going through the universes, like you can tell how much passion and love they put into this movie.
This is like a team's basically love child.
Yeah. Oh, you could feel the love tonight.
One of the most important themes
Elton John. Sorry.
of this film was not only the bond of family, but courage in itself.
Yeah.
And that was where the leap of faith comes in.
Can I just say that Spider-Man is my favorite superhero, and like it,
Marvel or in general? Because
I liked.
I would say he's up there. He's up there easily.
No, he's my number one superhero.
I don't think there's anybody else that's as relatable. They made from day one Spider-Man to be a relatable person who always has to work through a bad situation.
And not only that, he did have his superpowers and stuff like that and his smarts, but for the most part, he was just like a college student, very humble, very poor.
Multiple stories across the multiple versions of him are really tied together to the whole the thing that Nick was talking about, which is how do you make a choice between 2 right choices, and then also even just making the how do you decide as a character which of the 2 bad choices you can take.
Yeah,
right.
He was faced with a lot of that shit.
And it all starts actually in high school.
Yeah,
He's in high school.
So again, like he's the working class average Joe superhero, like almost always in over his head, but somehow comes out and fights and gets bruised and bloodied and comes out on top.
What's really interesting to me is also how that So speaking of Spider-Man,
Mm-hmm.
we're not just talking about Peter Parker.
We're
right?
talking about Miles.
Like right
Morales.
now, in particular, Miles Morales is also just as equally relatable as most other versions of Spider-Man being Peter Parker. He is a kid in Brooklyn, and wild stuff happens to him, and you still have to somehow, at the core of your character, make the right choice.
Yeah.
Right? And that's part of the movie is family ties, leap of faith. Like, I think that I don't remember it exactly, but one of my favorite things was the moment where they were all relating to Miles, like, we've been here. If there's anybody you can talk to, like, we've all been here.
Yeah.
Right? It really spreads throughout the entire the entire audience is just like, we've read all of we've all lost somebody.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. All the different Spider men,
Spider people.
Spider people. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Spider beings. Let's not be human specific. Okay. I want to talk about old Spider-Man. The Spider-Man from who's like, I don't even know how old he is.
Noir?
He's in his 30s.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's like
He's in his
35.
30s. He's got beer gut and pizza gut. And the person they decide to voice cast, Jake Johnson, or AKA, or also known as Nick from New Girl, he was perfect.
Everybody was so perfect for this film.
But Jake Johnson was phenomenal, man. He was so funny. He was so like in his element, like the Spider-Man that I grew up knowing, which was like that funny, sarcastic, zingy, kind of makes fun of himself Spider-Man.
I want to watch it right now again.
It was yeah.
What's great is that you didn't get to see it with us, but I remember looking at him like, you can see his face in the booth when you see Spider-Man. Even though Spider-Man has a mask on for most of the film, you're like, no, you can see it. Like,
I'm pretty sure they just put the dots on his face and completely captured his expression.
It is really good. So you know that like the animation was really high budget and good when they nailed the cry face. Okay. I'm not going to say who cried. There was a big moment when somebody was crying, and they nailed like the smile cry, the like your lips don't know, like they become swollen, and they don't function the way like you tell them to go left and they go right because you're crying, and nailed it. Perfect animation.
It takes a lot of pixels to make that.
Yeah.
Speaking of voice work, I remember questioning it for a bit until started getting more lines.
Mm-hmm.
But so Spider-Ham is voiced by the comedian John Mulaney.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I immediately recognized that, and I was like, oh my God, he's got more work. And you can see this kind of sassiness in Spider-Ham's like work. Like, no, that's John Mulaney. That makes sense. It's not just the character of Spider-Ham. It's John Mulaney giving voice to this character. But the real thing was, and the thing I was questioning is, I kept looking at Mario and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's Nick Cage. Nick Cage was the voice of Spider Noir.
Oh shit!
The one from the 40s. That's what I thought you were talking about earlier when you're like the old Spider-Man. I'm like,
Oh no.
black and white Spider-Man, Spider Noir.
Not black and white. That's funny to know because he's like that's a really goofy side I didn't know that actor had.
Right,
Because he was really funny.
I forget the inspiration he took for that particular like voice that he was aiming for, but it was one of those like, it's hard to tell. I think I know it, and I spend a lot of time listening to video games and anime and movies. You would think I would know this, and then later on I was like, when the credits started rolling, after I'd already said like, no, I'm like 89% sure that's Nick Cage, and I saw his name, I'm like,
See, it paid off. Okay, Mom, All right. I know I've been playing hours and hours of video games and shirking other responsibilities, but look, I was able to guess the voice of old Spider-Man.
Do you know the voice of blonde Spider-Man? We won't say what happens to him, but blonde Spider-Man.
It wasn't Jake Johnson?
No, not
Oh.
blonde Spider-Man.
That's the
Blonde
thing.
Spider-Man was
He'll-
Chris Pine
Who's Chris Pine?
from Star Trek.
He plays Kirk in the new Star Trek movies.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh,
you know what? His facial expressions look like him.
Holy fuck.
Right?
Okay.
I didn't I had to look that up once we got home because there wasn't a lot of time to hear his lines.
Okay.
Right? He spoils really quickly.
Yeah. So, why don't we get into so we already talked about what the what we thought about the
Wait,
cinematography.
no, there's more about the cinematography.
Okay, what did you want to touch on?
The visuals, the amount of color they used
Oh, yeah.
was crazy.
Yes.
From traveling through the universes
Right.
to the very end credit scene
Yeah.
where they show
that was
multiple. They just it's almost like a 60s Beatles acid trip of Spider-Man.
It
Yeah.
was brilliant.
It was really great.
Not that I know what an acid trip is.
Exactly.
But the color work in general was like
I assume that's what it's like.
Yeah, I assume.
I don't know about you because you said you saw it in standard. We saw it in IMAX.
I saw it in standard. I thought it was great.
We
but-
saw it in 3D and it was
Yeah.
crazy.
like
Oh, I bet.
like
This shit was crazy.
I feel like in 3D I felt more of the colors pop out properly and they just used a bright palette all the time anyways. So when we had darker scenes, like pretty specifically Miles getting his suit finally, the red on his suit pops really hard.
Yeah.
In like in IMAX. I don't know if it was just me basically tripping.
With
But like it just overall you can tell different tones of dark blue. Like it was great.
with 3D films, I hate it when they only make a 3D film to make extra money because those tickets are fucking expensive.
Yeah, they are.
They turn a like $13 movie ticket into $22.
Yeah.
So what I do is I wait for a 3D movie review to come out, and it tells me, is it worth 3D? And then I went to see some interviews, and they talked about how they shot this film with 3D in mind. So they took special attention to detail of how an audience would receive it watching it in 3D.
God damn it, Nikonsi. Now I have to go watch it in 3D again.
Oh, dang, you gotta watch it again?
Ah.
I'll go with you.
Yeah?
Yeah, I
Heck
would
yeah.
totally see it again.
I don't know when I'll have time to do this. But
And you make time for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Or else you know what happens?
Spider-Man.
The old Spider-Man is what happens to you.
Yeah. That's what's going to happen.
And in the end, you have to just make time. Like what he did. But I can't tell you what he does because I don't want to spoil anything. But make time for the people that you love and the things you care about.
That's right. Do we want to go into the choreography?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to touch on
Oh,
something.
which one? Which one? What part of the movie? I just want to spoil it all, but I want everybody to watch it.
No, it's not going to spoil.
Okay, we're not gonna
Because
spoil
we
it.
know it's coming.
Yeah.
Miles web slinging. Damn, man. Like, it had such a, like, his own style to it, like his own kind of finesse. It reminded me of like a basketball player, like jumping and dunking a ball. I'm huge into basketball, as you guys can tell, and it was so pleasing to me. I'm like, yes, this is dope as fuck. Oh my god.
How about the part when he tries to swing and he's like, I just can't, I'm just gonna run. And then old Spider-Man is like, dude, what are you doing? You're not gonna be able to get away from them. You need to swing.
Right?
You can't just run.
Yeah. He's like, this is what I'm good at. I'm
Yeah.
gonna do this.
Yeah.
This is what I'm good at.
The movie is just so funny.
Yes.
I just need everybody to watch this movie.
One
I need another one.
One really
Yes.
simple like cinematography thing to look out for, and in fact they do this as well in just writing in general, is Chekhov's gun, right? I talked about it on a couple other pod episodes where you don't show something to the audience without intending to use it later, because then you're making a promise you're not going to keep.
Okay.
So when he finally gets to use Venom Blast,
Oh shit.
I was like, my boy,
yeah.
my boy.
That was him waking off into Cheddar Bob's sock.
It was a real fat moment.
Can I say a really bad joke here?
Yeah.
Little teenagers going into comic book stores right now be like, I love Black Spider-Man, but like Black Spider-Man is Spider-Man when he gets the symbiote, or is it the iron suit? I forget which one is considered
Black Spider-Man is
the suit,
the symbiote suit.
right?
Miles Morales is a biracial Spider-Man.
Puerto Rican and black.
Just wanted to clarify that because
Yes.
there are definitely teenagers out there losing their shit.
His
'cause they're
mom
like,
was curvy as fuck.
that was a Puerto
Patty-
Rican mom for
Patty
sure.
pointed that out. She's just like, I love that they gave her a fat ass. I was like, yeah, dude, she's a Latin woman. Of course.
Accurate.
Yes.
You
Okay.
gotta say I love you, son.
I do want to touch on a little bit of the history.
Okay, sure.
So, Miles Morales comes from the Ultimate Universe.
Okay.
Currently, he has gone to the regular universe.
Okay.
But it starts with Ultimate Universe Spider-Man ends up dying.
Like in the film.
And somebody needs to take his spot. So Miles Morales ends up becoming the new Spider-Man
How?
because he's also bit by a spider.
And it was on
And he has-
accident? Or?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he just takes up the mantle. Very similar to the story, to the film. But anyways, in the comic books, he crosses over because of the Marvel Universe's Secret War, which is where all of the universes fight. Well, the main universe and the Ultimate Universe, because they were trying to get rid of the Ultimate Universe.
Really?
Yes, because there's too many comic books out.
Oh, okay.
So they needed to consolidate it. So they destroyed the Ultimate Universe and brought the things that they liked from the Ultimate Universe to the regular Marvel Universe.
Okay.
And then Spider-Man gets into all this Spider-Verse stuff. Yeah. But they did a really good job at putting it into a film and not feeling like it was missing a bunch of details.
The only thing I could think of was they didn't mention because late Madame Web, I think that's the character.
Yeah.
But even then, that itself is kind of like in Marvel lore, she's like a tier 9 entity, basically.
Yeah.
You know, like she's that far in power, and like I think on Marvel's like Marvel Wiki scale, Ant-Man can increase to that size.
I have no idea.
Something like that, but basically you become a god outside of the normal reality's realm, right? And so
yeah.
Madame Web is kind of like the god of connecting multiple universes, something ridiculous and wild.
Oh, that makes sense in the name. Yeah.
They have trade paperbacks of the most important issues that make the whole story that you can get.
I need to go get those. Okay. Choreography was great.
Oh,
Soundtrack?
amazing.
We were already listening to that
Spider-Man.
shit
We were
all
talking
night.
about it. Like I was telling him in the theater, like I think I like this more than the Black Panther soundtrack.
I fucking felt like I was in New York again.
Yeah. I love that they got a little
Right?
reggaeton in there.
They had
Like,
everything.
It really, and not only that, it really drove it emotionally. Again, this movie was pretty emotional. It hit too many markers on the spot for me.
I was like, yeah,
Huh?
that was. Did you feel that? Because I'm feeling things that I usually don't.
I'm not
feel.
crying about Peter Parker's death. I'm not crying about Peter Parker's death. I'm with Mary Jane. We got to move on. The web is
was like-
all.
I just want all of you to have some kind of happy ending, even though I know Spider-Man doesn't always
Spider-Gwen,
get
why'd
what...
your best friend have to die? Just like my uncle, just like his uncle, who's actually me, except we have a different name because my name is Benjamin in the middle, Peter B. Parker, and he's just Peter Parker. But like, damn, and then Miles' uncle.
What makes him smile? He doesn't get that. Never.
It's his
Can they just get it?
I know. Just give him the happy ending. Shit.
Spiderweb in the face.
They did that joke. That was good. That was
Yeah,
a good joke.
it was.
They knew which jokes that everybody kind of already makes, and we're like, no, they didn't. They enjoy a little.
It was great. A little bit of that. A little bit of web sling.
This soundtrack is fire.
It really is.
You can work out to this. I've been working out to this
Have you
like
been?
all week.
That's great.
Since we
By
saw
all week,
it,
I mean
we saw
Friday.
it on Thursday or Friday. We saw
We
it
saw it
Thursday
on
night.
Thursday night, so I
Yeah,
listened to it
so-
on Friday.
Yeah, I'm for sure gonna be
just-
driving home
I
to it.
streamed.
You're not gonna be able to
I didn't even
sleep.
use the full 3-hour playlist, which is compiled of like
You're just gonna be up.
more.
It's okay.
You're gonna start doing reps in the car.
Fuck
Yeah,
it.
the 3-hour playlist.
Your
it's like
steering wheel's gonna
almost
fall
4
off.
hours. That one's compiled of like the other artists and stuff. That's compiled by somebody else, I believe. But like the official soundtrack is only like 13 songs, and that alone,
Yeah,
like, is phenomenal.
it's really good. They made a whole hip hop album without cursing for this movie.
That's pretty cool.
which is weird.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool though. It's cool.
But it is kind of weird.
It is kind of weird.
It's weird because like I'm reminded of Will Smith saying, you don't have to curse to make good
Fuck
music.
yeah, you do.
But like you like
It is
for real.
It's my freedom. But if you look up on Spotify the playlist, because a lot of songs that they play on there are rap songs
Right.
that do curse, and they have them all, but they just cut it so you don't hear the cursing.
Got it.
Their timing for what they did was actually really good.
It really takes you back to being in high school and when your parents only let you listen to censored versions of
Y'all don't mess with my family.
Nelly.
But
Saint
like the
Lunatic's
regular one
album.
would be like, y'all don't
What?
fuck with
Or
my family.
DMX's album.
What are you listening to?
Why is this?
Give me that.
Why is this man barking? And why is every other word fuck?
Mom? It's art. Like why?
Rough Riders.
It's
fuck, motherfuck, fuck. Motherfuck, fuck.
See, it's like
fucking like
it's like poetry, Mom. Like you haven't heard of street poetry? Yeah, we're getting rid of this album immediately. Okay?
Hamada, fuck.
No wonder. You're,
Hamada, fuck. Hamada, fuck.
and I skirt
Fuck.
like
yeah,
Yeah.
that's like new music nowadays.
That is new music. Yeah.
Let's get into
Isn't it weird
some.
that
Mhm.
newer music is kind of more okay with onomatopoeia? Like, not that older music didn't have it, but they were like more signature to like DMX
Well-
had like rough.
Yeah, but newer music, I guess, uses a lot of onomatopoeia.
It's weird.
It is
right.
weird.
It's just sound effects. I just like it's. I feel
don't
like
know
I'm.
if- yeah.
I feel like I'm reading a comic book without reading the dialogues.
Like the little sound
Yeah,
effects.
just bam,
Windows.
skirt, snink.
And sometimes I'm okay with that, but
It's
then
like
a
when
lot
you
of
were
times
a-
I have to change it up.
When you were a kid listening to like what the farm animal sounds making.
Ba black sheep, have you any wool? Yes sir, 3 bags full. Fuck you in the face, fuck you in the ass, fuck you in the pussy, yeah. Skirt. Yeah. Oh, too far.
Oh man, can we get into some badass moments?
Yeah, badass.
The entire film.
The entire film. Are we giving our rating then?
The entire film was badass. What the fuck moments?
We can't get into that yet.
Like
But one of my
the entire
favorite
film.
badass moments, and kind of what the fuck, it's just both,
Okay.
is when Kingpin walks in. Because they made him so huge and so boxy. You're
Like
what?
his head like starts it comes out of his chest. Like it protrudes from his chest. He's all traps.
Yeah, but the thing is that knowing that this was the creators of the Lego Movie, that's part of their comedy, right?
Uh-huh.
They made him comically like, look, he has such tiny head, but he is Kingpin.
So boxy, man.
like, a lot of his older art, in my mind, is not like a normal big person character, which, to be fair, was really interesting for when they put him in Daredevil and stuff. Like I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. He's a regular like
He's a
big fucking dude.
This
a
is
big
how
dude.
he would look as a regular person.
Who could
Yeah.
like break
But,
off
like-
car doors and shit.
But
like,
in cartoon style,
It's like, oh, you have at least 4-4-year-olds the size of
he's
your
a
leg,
gorilla.
right?
Yeah.
that's all you
it's
can
just-
see in the video.
It's wild. It's wild.
What was the name of the villain at the beginning? Again, I'm not gonna spoil any of it.
Which one?
The purple guy,
Fem Octavia was pretty cool.
Prowler?
Not Prowler.
Prowler.
Not Prowler.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the movie, you said? That's why I'm confused.
No.
That's why I'm like-
Prowler. Yes, Prowler. Purple guy. Purple and black guy.
Yeah, that's Prowler.
That's why I got confused. I was
He was
like,
a great villain. Like his scenes, his chase scenes, and whenever he was on screen was so intense. Like my heart was beating.
They made everything so unique.
Yeah.
Every single character was uniquely their own.
Yeah. So, like I felt like a 14-year-old Miles Morales running from this this thing that was like way too fast and way too agile and it is for sure I'm gonna
climbing on
die.
walls too.
For sure I'm gonna die.
Their music was so good that you felt everything Miles Morales felt.
Yeah,
You felt it.
it's crazy.
I watched that film like,
Yeah.
What's great
Same.
is that I already have auditory hallucinations like this where I'm just walking around and I definitely don't have my headphones in, but I hear music and I'm like, what is going on?
I don't think that's. I think you should get that checked. I don't
Maybe.
know if that's.
I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah.
Are you guys even here?
that
Do you
might
hear-
be an STD.
Do you hear what? I think that. No, I don't think that's it.
I don't mess with
Well,
my
if you take it too many
familia.
times in the ear, I saw it on Scary Movie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and that's
Which
why.
scary movie? One?
Number 2.
Right? No, okay.
And that's why Damian
Yeah.
Wayne always hears Lil Weezy wee 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 song everywhere
Like a
he goes.
cow.
It's really unfortunate, actually. It's really like, Anyway,
But yeah, the music, right? Like I've been telling you with all of our other films that even if it's not in the forefront, it drives a film. But when it comes to the forefront, like so hard, like in Black Panther and in Spider-Verse, it's its own part that you can like visually and audibly see and hear that's going on with the rest of the movie.
music is such a strong cultural, defining thing about, again, like Black culture, Latin culture.
All cultures,
all
really.
cultures, and it's really great that they emphasize that, they give it that theme, and we've been seeing a lot more of it again with Black Panther and Spider-Man. So it was fucking on point.
I just want to reiterate that while I absolutely love Black Panther, this is more poppy. I was having trouble figuring that word out when we were in the car earlier today, but like this is definitely more of a poppy album, which
Like
doesn't
an
make it
approachable,
which doesn't make it bad, but I definitely like it more, but I'm willing to concede that I know that it's poppy. Like it's more poppy music.
I agree, and I think I agree in you saying that I like it better than Black Panther's.
But Black Panther is such a
It was really good.
Yeah,
amazing
Black
and
Panther's
thematic,
album
like-
it's a historical monument.
right.
different-
That's what
theme.
it's completely lyrical.
Yeah,
It's you just have to listen to Kendrick Lamar's words.
it paved
Right?
the way for this album,
Probably,
for this soundtrack.
yeah.
Honestly,
you know what I mean?
We're
And
talking
it-
about
it-
what, like 2 years,
And it paved the way
since,
for Tyler
like,
the Creator to
Make the
produce
Grinch.
the Grinch music score.
Still haven't watched
while
that.
I've heard that Benedict Cumberbatch is kind of a Grinch, but the soundtrack is fire.
It's just so
I will
hard.
support Benedict Cumberbatch. It's so hard to come off the coattails of Jim Carrey.
Really,
That's my favorite
really
Grinch
is.
movie,
It's just really
and it will always be my favorite Grinch movie.
same. No one's gonna outdo him.
No,
For the rating, I want to give it a badass.
Before I get into
I
that,
give it a badass.
Mm-hmm.
And before he gets into
before I
that,
get into that,
Before you get into that,
speaking of riding the coattails, like a series of misfortune events.
oh yeah,
Also, like
MPH.
Neil Patrick Harris is a pretty good Baron. I forget the whole
He
name.
is.
He did pretty
But
good.
like
He did
again,
pretty good.
Jim Carrey, like
Jim Carrey just pulls off these faces that nobody else can do, not even animation can do.
He gets so sucked into his characters. It's
right?
just
It's beautiful.
amazing.
I finished his new series, which is fantastic. Everybody needs to watch it.
What's that?
The he's like a children's show host, and then it shows like
It's a
yeet that bitch.
Skirt, skirt. Skippity bop, boppity bop, hippity giggity bop, bippity boppity boo. No, that's
Bippity boppity boo.
that's Cinderella. That's Cinderella. My bad. My bad.
Speaking of Disney, by the way, Mary Poppins getting new shit is pretty good. Very
Who's Mary
excited.
Poppins going to be? Is it going to be
I think
Elizabeth
it's
Banks?
I thought it was Emily Blunt.
it's Emily Blunt.
It's
Who's
Emily
that?
Blunt.
You
It's
know
Emily
Emily Blunt. She's from that movie with Tom Cruise where
Edge of
he
Tomorrow.
Live, Die, Repeat.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
You know Emily.
I love
Blunt,
Emily
John
Blunt.
Krasinski's wife.
Yeah. I'm not
you know,
mad at
you
that.
know John Krasinski,
Nope.
Jim Halpert from The Office.
Jim Carrey's TV show is called Kidding.
We didn't have to stall for 5 minutes so that Nakansi could find that name.
Feel free to edit.
To find the show that I absolutely love.
Everybody go watch that. Worth it.
Some editing somewhere. And it's a badass film. It's fun for the whole family. It's fun for yourself. It's fun for the other universes of yourself, obviously.
Okay, so what the fuck moments?
Wait. I'm going to give it my number score.
Oh, okay.
10 out of 10.
Whoa.
This is a classic film, not just a classic comic book film or a classic animated film. This is a classic film, and it will go into the history books as one of the best Spider-Man films.
You know what sucks is that he beat me to it. I was going to give my number rating, and it's going to be my first 10 as well.
This
is a big moment.
It's
this
my
is-
first 10.
This is
Like,
the beginning of a new type of experimental genre where people are willing to take risks
Yeah.
and not play it safe.
100%.
This movie took a lot of risks, left and right, from the main character being Puerto Rican and black.
Yeah. I mean,
To-
there was that big controversy that the next Spider-Man should be black, and everybody hated that idea.
Donald Glover could have played Miles Morales, but instead he got to play Prowler in the second. And yeah.
Yeah, Donald Glover played Prowler in Homecoming.
Which we have no idea if he might make I'm pretty sure he's not making a renewal
No,
appearance.
he
in
is. He is.
The
Yeah,
Far
he'll be
From
in the
Home.
next one.
So he could be in there.
Anyway, that was that big controversy. And what do they do? Not only do they make him black, they make him biracial. He is Puerto Rican black. And I fucking love that, dude.
And he's wearing Jordans, retro ones, the whole time.
God, the web slinging, I can't get over it.
And he leaves his shoe untied
There's
consciously.
there was so much swag in his web slinging. I didn't know that was possible. I already love web slinging. I didn't know you could just take it even further. So, thanks.
I don't remember the exact bit, but Hannibal Buress, in one of his comedy specials that I happen to watch on Netflix, mentions, it is the wipeout joke, where he gets on a plane and some guy who's sitting across from him, like across the row or something, is just on a plane at like 9 o'clock in the morning, laughing his ass off, watching Wipeout. And Wipeout is
That's a great show.
yeah, it's like an American goofy game show based off of a Japanese game show.
It's
Something like that, right?
It's like American Ninja Warriors for the people who are out of shape and everything is covered in foam and
It's for fun.
inflatable. Yeah, and it's just hilarious.
Right. And again, that was based off of like a Japanese show of the same thing. And
Okay, so someone's cracking up over
yeah.
that on the plane.
So Hannibal Buress is like, he got really existential for a moment. Like, man, this guy, like, nobody goes out of their way to watch that show, but this guy absolutely loves it. And he was like, no, I'm gonna fucking watch because you're getting on a plane, you have to download that shit ahead of time. And he went and downloaded like 4 or 5 episodes of it, and he just was on the plane watching it and laughing his ass off the whole goddamn time.
Okay.
And like, so Hannibal Buress is like, I can do that too. I can just do something trivial and not care that anybody else pays attention to it. And he turned that into like, I'm just gonna, if my zipper's down, I'm gonna leave it down. I'll get it later. I don't care. Like, why are you staring at my penis?
And this relates back
to Spider-Man.
To Spider-Man.
And that is a conscious effort to not tie his shoe. He's like, no, it's a decision.
We brought it all the way back, motherfuckers. You thought we weren't?
I set
You
it
thought
all
we
up.
were?
You knew. Yeah, I knew. I had this whole thing planned out for real. No, I really.
Call me Madam Web. Spun that web. Bitch. My number rating is a 10 out of 10 as well. This movie
3
is
of us?
3 10 out of 10s.
I'm not gonna lie. We're probably its target audience.
I know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
this movie was complete. Again, it touched on so many emotional points. The family, the brothers not being
Having
on
your-
speaking terms,
But
and
still, like,
just the idea of like what would happen if you didn't work it out, and then you just can't ever work it out, right? And
you gotta
then
live with it.
and then just be trying to be brave, right? Being
And
in
then
over your head.
Old Peter goes back to his universe, and he's like, "We gotta work on it."
So I want to jump into what the fuck moments / honorable
mention.
honorable mentions. My favorite line that resonated so hard with me was, I'm not going to spoil it. I'm going to say it, but I'm not going to tell you where or when it occurred. It was old Spider-Man basically saying, I'm so proud of you, kid. Wait, do I want kids now? If anybody can relate to that shit, it fucking related to me, because I have these fucking moments all the time when I'm like, damn, that kid's cute. Wait, do I want kids now? It's fucking, it was like when a stand-up comedian is telling jokes that relate, that everybody can laugh for, and they're for everybody, and then there's just that one joke that's for that one target audience member, and that was me, and nailed me right between the eyes. Pew, 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 pew.
My only real... It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to pick it out. I think a good what the fuck moment was finding out how badass Aunt May was, in like how badass they were gonna make her.
Yeah.
In this particular film, knowing where which universe she was gonna come from.
She was a badass.
I'm gonna leave it with time is relative.
Ladies.
Any other what the fuck or honorable mentions you guys want to throw in there?
I think an honorable mention for me was it would have to be pretty much most of the scenes involving Peter Porker, Spider-Ham. Most of those were like, they really did it. They really gave it to us. This is great. I could not be mad when he was on screen.
Oh, honorable mention, but I can't really mention it, is the after credits scene.
Oh yeah, like the artwork that was done in all the while the credits were.
No, after that.
Oh yeah,
Did you watch
The
it?
secret scene.
The secret scene at the
That's
end
not so
of the
secret
credits.
because you should be expecting it by now, which is really bugging
Did you
a lot
not
of
watch
the
it?
developers.
you guys are gonna have to tell me off mic.
Oh, no, I'll tell you right now because it's already all over the internet probably by the time this comes out.
What is it?
It sets up the next film if they make another film.
Was it when he was lying on his bed?
No, it's...
It was a good meme moment, too.
It jumps into a different universe,
Huh?
and the person who is talking is Spider-Man 2099, which is the O'Hara Spider-Man.
O'Hara?
Yeah, he's from the future.
Ah, shit. I'm watching that as soon as we wrap this shit up.
Yeah, and then they have a really hilariously like that was a well done meme
Yeah,
moment. That was a great
like,
joke.
It was hilarious because he goes, his partner goes, well, what universe do you want to go to first?
Whoa.
And then he goes,
The beginning.
the beginning.
Like,
and they go
damn.
to the beginning. And we'll leave you with that. Make sure you check out not only this movie, but if you can, watch it in IMAX 3D. It's worth it.
Sounds like it's worth it. I'm going to go do it.
Again.
That brings us to the end of our podcast, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. We are Hidden Shadows of Secret Chamber. Follow us on Instagram at HSTSC33, Facebook,
Yes, and YouTube.
YouTube.
he's putting
yes,
us on YouTube now. Yeah.
If you like
We're
our
getting-
stuff, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment.
Yeah, and
Everything helps.
subscribe so you guys can get the latest episodes. We're also doing a few side projects. We got the Knick Knack Show. We got a couple other projects coming up. Stay tuned for those. Follow Mr. Junior, Mr. Khan here.
These are really, really quiet guns. I spelt out the Twitch, but
Yeah, what is that? What does that say?
TV, Twitch.tv/Cookie Ninja Carve.
There you go, guys.
These are really quiet guns. I've been
They're
working
good.
on it.
I like them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got inspired by Spider-Verse.
Our next review will be Mortal Engines.
So excited.
Ooh, we already watched it.
We did.
It was pretty anime, really. It was really space opera.
Yeah, we'll
Not
give
in
you our
space.
go check it
Like,
out,
go check it
and
out.
we'll give you our take next podcast.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you next pod. Peace.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at HSTSC33.
And on Facebook, Hidden Shadows of the Secret Chamber.
Yeah, that
This
too.
is a Hidden Shadow production.